Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be making a tutorial on how to cut and sew an halter neck gown. So if this is something that interests you, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So guys, we are cutting this directly on our fabric. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into four using my hip measurements, and I added 2 inches seam allowance to it. Then I'm going to go ahead now to mark my zipper allowance. My zipper allowance is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inches through the length of this gown, and I've gone ahead to cut out the length as well. The length I'm going for is 44 inches, but I'm adding ruffles to the down part, so this is 38 inches here. So I'm going to go ahead now to fold in the zipper allowance. So after folding in the zipper allowance, this is what we have. So I will first of all go ahead to mark 2 inches from the beginning of our fabric. This 2 inches is where we are going to be using as our starting point. So I'm going to mark that 2 inches now and just mark straight line across the point. So every measurement we are taking on this fabric is going to start from that line that I just made now. So I will insert my shoulder measurements even though we actually do not need it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is insert my neck width. The neck width I'm going for is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark my own neck width of 4 inches. Then I'll go ahead and mark the neck depth for both the back and the front panel. So the neck depth for the back panel that I want to use is 2 inches, and for the front panel I'm using 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead now and connect that to the neck width using my free hand. So that one is the back neckline and this is the front neckline. So after doing that, I'll go ahead now to mark my bust points, my chest line, my bust points, my waistline and my hip line, and I'm going to go ahead and make a straight line across those points. So after making those lines, I'm going to go ahead to go to the chest line. So the second line after the shoulder line is my chest line. This line right here that I'm touching is my chest line. So I'm going to insert my bust circumference measurement, which is 10.75, and I'm going to add 1.5 inch seam allowance to it. Then I'm going to join from my neck width to that point that I just made. I wanted to use my armhole curve, but I realized that my armhole curve is not as long as that. So I'm going to connect it like so. So if you want yours to be deeper than that, your halter neck to be deeper than what I have, you just go ahead and trim it inward, but just make sure you connect your bust span measurement to the neck width. So I'll go to my waistline and insert my waist circumference measurement, which is 9.25, and I'm going to add 1.5 inch seam allowance to it. I'll go to my hip line as well, insert my hip measurement of 12 inches and add 1.5 seam allowance to it, and I'm going to replicate that on the length of the fabric. So as you can see, I didn't make any dart line on this fabric, and that's because we are not adding any dart to this fabric. So I'm not adding that to this outfit. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the length to the hip to the waist, and the waist to the bust point. So we are done drafting our pattern. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend every sharp edges and go ahead and cut it out. So when I get to the neck area, I'll cut out the neck for the back panel first. Then I'll notch the zipper allowance, separate the front back panel from the back panel. Then I'll go ahead to cut the neckline for the front panel. So guys, after all that, this is what I have. This is how my front panel looks like. So like I said earlier, if you want your halter neck to be deeper than this, trim it inward, like mark it inward. So I'll go ahead now and cut out the lining. So guys, I've cut out the lining for both the front panel and the back panel. So it's now time to start stitching our halter neck gown. So the first thing I'm going to do is to lay my front panel on the table like so, and place my lining on the right side of my fabric like so. So after placing it, I will align it properly. Then after aligning it, I'll take it to my machine. Then I'll sew down on the armhole. I'll sew down on the two armhole, and I will sew down on the side and turn it inward around the down part. We are not turning the down, we are not turning the neck, because we are attaching ruffles to the down and we are attaching collar to the neck area. So I'll go ahead and do that now for both the front and back panel. So guys, after attaching the lining, this is what I have. The armhole is neat and the sides are neat because I turned it inward. So I didn't turn the neckline because I'm attaching collar, and I didn't turn the down part. Then I've gone ahead to join the back panel and take in the zipper allowance. So it's time to attach our collar. So I'm going to first of all open the zipper allowance, because the collar is going to start from the beginning of the zipper allowance. So I'm going to measure around my neckline to know the measurements I'm going to be using. So the neckline measurement I'll be using is 24 inches. So and I'll be cutting it on fold. That means I'm going to be folding in 12 inches. Then the height is I'm going for this 4 inches. So I'm going to cut it out like so, open it up, then fold the height into two the way I'm doing it, and press it down with my iron. So after pressing it down with my iron, this is what I have. Remember, the length is 24 inches and the height is 2 inches now, because we have already ironed it to fold it into two. So now the next thing is to start attaching it to the fabric. So I'm going to open it up like so and place it on the, I'll start attaching from the zipper allowance. So I'm going to place it on the wrong side first, the way I'm placing it now. So I'll place it on the wrong side. I'm starting from the zipper allowance of the back panel. So I'm going to pin it down like so, move on and pin it down. Guys, when you are placing it on it, be careful not to, don't rush, just be gently be doing it. You know the neckline is curved and the collar is straight, so you have to be careful so you won't make mistake. So once I get to the end of that piece of the back panel, I'm going to place the end of the front panel on it, beside it. Immediately after I finish, there'll be no space in between. So I'm going to pin it round. I'll pin it round till I get to the end of the front panel as well. Guys, I'm actually taking my time to do this. So when you are making yours as well, make sure you take your time to do it, so there won't be any mistake while sewing it down. So as I'm pinning it down, once I reach the end of this side of the front panel as well, I'm going to take the end of the other side of the back panel like so, and I'll place it like this as well. Immediately, guys, immediately, don't leave any space, just place it beside it. So I'll pin it down and pin it down till I get to the zipper allowance of the other side of the back panel as well. So after pinning it all through, so I'm going to take it to my machine and just go ahead and sew it down round the neckline. So guys, this is what I have after sewing what I pinned the other time down. So I pin it down, I sew it down around my neckline. So guys, when you are making yours, please don't make the mistake of using the same measurement I used for my neckline, because this measurement is unique to my neckline. I measured the neckline of my fabric before I came out with this measurement. So measure your own neckline so you can come out with this measurement, so you can be perfect like this. So I'm going to cover up the rough edges on the right side like this. I'm going to take it to my machine and sew it down round as well till I get to the other side. So guys, after sewing down, this is what I have. This is what it looks like on the right side. So As you can see, it's all looking so neat and pretty. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to go ahead and attach zipper to the back. I will attach zipper to the back and the zipper will reach the collar. So after attaching the zipper to the back, I'll go ahead and place the front and the back panel on each other, right side facing each other like so, and I will join it together with whatever seam allowance we have left. Then I will attach ruffles to the down part. So I've gone ahead to cut a piece of fabric from my ruffles. So this is it. I'll form a gathers and attach it to the down part, and I'll come back guys to show you the final look of this gown. So guys, this is the final look of my gown. Like I said earlier, if you want your halter neck to be deeper than this, all you need to do is just trim a little bit inward. So thank you so much guys for watching this tutorial. Please do well to like this video and subscribe to this channel to enjoy more content. I'll see you in the next one guys. Bye.